What's up, everybody? Welcome to Moose Milk Podcast, episode 35. 35. It's September 4th, technically. Saturday, but kind of Friday, depending where you are. I'm Ryan. We're going to wait for Matt to join us before we dive in on our thoughts on What If Episode 4 and Matt's spoiler-free thoughts on Shang Chi. So, spoiler free for Shang Chi, but if you haven't watched What If Episode 4 yet, definitely we will be spoiling that, so be prepared. But, hope everybody's doing well, and here's Matthew. I'm always scared it's not going to work. Every time I hit it, every week, doesn't matter, 35 weeks in, I hit join, and I'm still worried Matt's not going to join, every time.
I'm here.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. You?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm okay. Had a really productive day, both at work and customizing. So,
well, aren't you fancy?
I prepped 2 figures, or I'm not quite finished yet. I'll finish after this, but I prepped 2 figures tonight after work.
Nice.
So,
congrats, buddy.
Yeah, man, it's pretty good. I was pretty happy about that.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. I got these really cool power effects in the mail that you put on your figure's hands.
Oh, nice.
I got these ones, and I got these ones.
Are those like custom, or you like order those from like an actual manufacturer?
They're made, the third-party manufacturer guy kind of makes them. He just does power effects, but they're like expensive. Like each one of these is like $9 American plus shipping.
Jesus.
Yeah, but they're like the best quality you can get. So if you're looking to spend the money on that kind of stuff, then like
sure. If you're looking to get that kind of thing, then that's the guy you want to go to.
Totally. Can of Beams, that's what it's called. And I also got these cool flight stands in from somebody as well.
Nice.
So I haven't really put them to use yet, but
all in time, buddy. All in time.
Yeah, buddy. So how are you?
So we're gonna talk about Shang-Chi a little bit, but I haven't seen it yet, and you have, so
we're gonna see it. I'm seeing it again tomorrow. I know you're seeing it tomorrow too.
Yeah, I'm gonna see it tomorrow night. So next week, next Friday will be episode 36. We'll do like a spoiler filled discussion on it.
I've done 36 of these. That's crazy.
I know, right? Almost a year, man. Crazy.
It'll be a year. We started in January, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, we can just do like a spoiler-free chat of your thoughts on it, and then next week we'll do like a full spoiler cast on it. So, gives people a week to go watch the movie and, before we spoil the shit out of it. So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so I guess if we're going to start there, then
we can, yeah. Well, I mean,
do you want to just start with what we kind of watched? Why don't you start with what you watched? We'll just stick with the format. We usually do what we watched first. So
I don't have a lot to talk about this week, really. I mean,
let me guess.
I finished up
Survivor,
Supergirl,
The Block, the
Challenge.
Yeah,
I mean the same shit. I finished Supergirl season 5, which is the extent that's available on Netflix. Like they're
doing season 6 right now. Yeah.
It's not on Netflix yet, so I haven't dove into that yet because it's not publicly available in an easy form. But season 5 is done. I watched like 107 episodes in just over a month. So
that's fucking crazy, dude.
Mission complete. It's a good show. I mean, like I've said before.
Yeah, how do you feel about it?
It's good. I mean, I think there's some seasons that are better than other seasons. I really love Brainiac. He's my favorite character on the show, for sure. I think he's by far the funniest. A lot more in season 5 than season 4. Like he's all over the map, and he changed his characters a lot. Like he's it's hard to explain without like diving deep into the show. But like, I mean, he has like these like inhibitors basically that like make him not
use his full power, right? It doesn't get...
It takes away power. It takes away, like, emotion and stuff like that out of him, or puts in emotion, or, vice versa. And basically, he takes them off in season 5, and so he, like, changes dramatically as a character. But,
That's a good.
I don't know.
That's a cool.
It's a
episode.
fun show. With that?
That's a cool because I actually did watch that episode because like I kind of reached when I was working on the last set of figures. I said to Jesse, I'm like, if you could pick like one episode that would best put Brainiac into perspective for me, which episode would it be? And it was the episode where he switches to the purple costume.
Yeah.
And he loses the inhibitor things and
yeah,
it's cool.
It's cool. I like him and Dreamer's like interactions and stuff on the show are like totally adorable. Like I love them as characters on the show. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a fun show. Like I said, it's a little bit long in the tooth. Could have done like I think a good 10 episode seasons and it would have like sufficed. But overall, I think it's a really fun show. Really, if you're into like those type of shows, Buffy, if you're into Arrow or Flash or anything like that, like it's right up your alley. You'll dig Supergirl too. But overall, I enjoyed it. And then What We Do in the Shadows season 3 started on Wednesday or Thursday, so I just watched the first 2 episodes of that, and awesome. So it's such a funny show. I
need to catch up on those. Where are those? They're not available anywhere for us to stream, are they?
It's on FX, so I don't think it's available anywhere. But I don't know. To me, like if you have like Google Play or whatever, I don't know what the seasons cost, like $20 or whatever, but totally worth it.
I should probably do that. Me and Kate have been wanting to watch it, so
it's very dry. Like
that's great. No, we love the movie.
Yeah.
So.
If you didn't like the movie or Flight of the Conchords, like it's not going to be up your alley. Like it's a very similar comedy style, so it's very dry, but fuck, does it make me laugh?
That sounds great, though.
Yeah, it's right up my alley. So it's superb. It's so well done that it's so well written. I can't recommend it enough.
Cool. Yeah, I need to get into that for sure. Like I said, I know we'll like it. So we both like Flight of the Conchords. We both like the movie. So
yeah, it's so good, man. You'll love it.
Nice. Is that everything you've got?
That's it, man. I said, I haven't watched much out of the ordinary. Yeah, that's it. I haven't had time this week. I've been busy, so.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to do much watching this week. I did watch a little bit, but I watched obviously What If twice. Just rewatched it, like just finished it. Yeah, and I actually watched Black Panther last week on Saturday.
Right.
Just to kind of it was the like anniversary of Chadwick Boseman's passing, so
sure.
It's like if there's ever a day to do it, it's probably the day.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just I had time, and I was just like, I haven't seen this in a while, so let's watch it. That's pretty good. I mean, it's just about what I remembered, but yeah, I really like that movie. I don't know if I am with your argument that he is not a. How did you best describe T'Challa?
It's fucking boring.
Yeah, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I mean, like, I can understand certain aspects of it. I feel like maybe the royalty kind of side of him can be a little bit boring.
He's got the Superman problem, man. Outside of like the superpower skill set, he's too goody, man. He doesn't have like the problems. He doesn't have, I don't know, like to me it's just like
but he
wants to do good and it's just boring, you know?
Yeah,
I like a character that has depth. I like a character that has faults. I like a character that has a dark side to them. And the always wanting to do the right thing I find very boring after a while. Like it's just like, all right, come on.
I guess it all depends on what you're into, but
I think he looks badass as fuck as Black Panther. Like I love when he's Black Panther in the movies. I'm like, oh man, he's so dope looking.
I love the scene where they're chasing Claw around Japan. I think it's Japan or somewhere over there. I can't remember. But yeah, the episode that part where they have the car chase where Shuri's driving the car from Wakanda, like remotely or whatever. That's a fucking sick scene, man. That's so dope.
It is. It's really well shot.
And I know you don't like the music, which I get because it is literally the 100% opposite direction of your musical taste. But like, man, like I fucking love that soundtrack. It's just so cool. I know you do. And
it's not even because it's not my taste. I just feel like it doesn't fit the film. Like,
oh my god, I don't understand. I don't understand because it's like
I feel like the way it's edited into the movie, it feels out of place. Like it feels like it was an afterthought to the movie or something. Like
it reminds me of like future jungle music. That's what it reminds me of.
It does, but like it's I feel like it doesn't weave into like the movie properly. Like it when I hear it, it's I don't even know how to explain it properly. Like it feels out of place. It doesn't feel like the excitement of the music builds with the action of the movie. Like it just feels like very out of place when it plays it. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. I don't dig it. Like it's just not my type
you're
of movie.
entitled to your opinion. I'm like even in regards to the music right there, like I feel a lot of it is a great build up because so much of it is like the people doing the chants and the stomps and the everything, right? And it's just like a lot of like the kind of tribal kind of sounding chanting and stuff like that. And I feel like that really blends into the soundtrack really well. So I don't know. I really liked it. It's been a fucking minute since I've seen it. It's probably been like, I don't know. When did that movie even come out? I can't remember. 2018?
17?
17? So it's probably
I don't know.
It's probably been a couple of years since I've seen it, to be honest.
That's my maybe 2018.
2018.
Let's see here. February 2018.
February 2018.
I like I said, like it's just not my type of movie. It's I think there's a great movie somewhere buried in there. I just don't think they nailed it. I think the most interesting character is the villain, and
I agree there. I still agree.
That's the problem with the movie for me is none of the actual Wakanda stuff going on I find remotely intriguing. It's the stuff outside of Wakanda that I find intriguing in the movie, and that's the least part of the movie.
But I guess that's just telling you that you don't really care for the Wakanda stuff, though.
I don't. I think their tech and everything's cool, but I just so wish that there was more going on that was interesting to me. That the tribal stuff and everything like that, like it doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I love it. I thought it was great, and I was like, I forgot how much I enjoyed it. So,
but I will say, like, it's a very different movie in the span of MCU, which is good. Totally. Like, it needs that different feel.
Yeah. It definitely has a different feel, but again, and as I've said, we've both said, like, that's another one of the movies that, really suffers the Marvel formula, right? Where it's like,
and I think that's my problem with it is it's very formulaic, but
absolutely.
It has that different feeling. Okay, I know. It has that different feeling that most of the other movies don't have. It's still very formulaic in story and all that, but
yeah.
I'm excited to see what they do with the second one. Now that they, as sad as it is that Chadwick passed, I mean, I'm very interested to see how they're going to carry on his legacy as an actor and as a film, make it make sense for what the future of Black Panther is. Like, I think that's an interesting concept. So
I agree. It should be interesting to see how they approach that, especially because it's they'll want to handle it with like respect and like
of course they
which
should.
I know they will, but I mean it's just
it's a hard. It's the same as like when Carrie Fisher died for Star Wars, right? Like,
totally.
How do you do that appropriately without disrespecting their legacy, without making it feel like a money grab of like, oh, we're going to put this actor in, via motion cap that they did previously and like that kind of stuff. Like, it's hard to do. And I think they will handle it appropriately. I have a feeling that it's going to be done.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt that they will. Like, that's not they're pretty good with that kind of stuff usually. So
I agree. And it's the same director, right?
It is the same director. Yeah.
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler. Yeah. So
cool. He's great.
Yeah, but other than that, I didn't really get up to much this week, unfortunately. So,
did you watch more Always Sunny?
I only got a couple more episodes, so I think I'm only on season 11, episode 2 or something. I think.
Right on.
Yeah, I know I started season 11, but I didn't get very far. So there's some pretty like messed up ones, like the gang makes the Lethal Weapon 6 or whatever. It's like, okay,
banned episode,
pretty fucking crazy. Yeah, I heard that was a banned episode. Yeah, But yeah, no, that's all. That's great too. So, but
Yeah.
to be honest with you, the real star of this week was fucking Shang Chi, man. Oh.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see it tomorrow.
It was really good. Okay, so no spoilers. So
No spoilers.
We're gonna talk Shang Chi. Sorry, I have to get better at that. We're gonna be talking spoilers next Friday. So, but yeah, my spoiler free review is super refreshing. It does have some of the usual formulaic kind of tropes that we don't love, but they do a really great job of kind of burying them with kind of other story points that are a bit more unique, I guess. It's probably some of the best fight scenes. Probably some of the best fight scenes in the MCU. To be honest,
awesome.
Yeah, man. There's a couple that are like my hands were like sweaty, like watching them.
That's dope.
They were intense, dude. And then Aquafina is super funny in it. She's kind of like the comic relief.
That's good.
And she's fucking hilarious. Super funny.
I just hate her name.
Me too. Yeah. To be honest with you, I've never really been a huge fan of her. I've only seen her in Crazy Rich Asians. Kate watched that. Yeah, obviously. Kate watched it, and I watched it with her one time. And she has like a show. I think it's like Nora from Queens or something. It used to be on my.
Yeah, I've heard of her show. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I remember like catching an episode and being just like, yeah, this is obviously not for me. But but she was great in this. So
that's great. I mean, I'm not. She could be a great actor. It's the same as what the fuck's her name from Spider-Man?
Zendaya.
I'm like, I don't get the name thing. I don't know. Like maybe that's her actual name or whatever. Like I don't know. The one name thing is very weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
the only person that's ever pulled it off is Oprah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but
Prince.
Anyway, yeah, I guess, but I don't know.
I would say Prince did.
Still weird.
But yeah, it was so fucking fun, and like, this isn't really spoiling anything because like, it's in the trailer, but like that fight scene that they kind of show hints on the bus or whatever in the trailer is fucking incredible. Like it's crazy, dude. It's so fucking
so
good.
My question is two parts, and obviously no spoilers. Okay. Is A, does Iron Man 3...
I'm just kidding.
Does Iron Man 3 tie into this in any way? Like, if you have not watched Iron Man 3, are you going to be lost in this movie?
No, not like at all. But like,
does it make Iron Man 3 better?
I don't know if I would say it makes it better. Because
they're great at doing that type of thing where, like, I mean, they kind of did it with was it Loki? I don't remember, but how they make kind of like Thor: The Dark World a little bit better with like doing like maybe it was when they went into Endgame and they time traveled and they made like they changed history or whatever. Like they're good at making like the weird movies that nobody really likes kind of stand back out and like be important in the film.
Kind of
so I wondered
referencing to like their past kind of thing. Okay, so like I'll say this: it's hard to say too much without really spoiling anything.
Yeah,
it's referenced multiple times. That's obvious situation. So for anybody who, I don't really think this is a spoiler to say because I just maybe it would be considered. Maybe I just won't say that. But it like you definitely having seen Iron Man 3 would add to the enjoyment of this if you were more than just a cat. Like if you were a casual fan and you saw Iron Man 3 when it came out, the payoff may not be as good for you as it would be for like you and me because like we're fans. We've kind of picked it apart, so we kind of know it a bit better.
That's what I mean. I was hoping that they weren't going to make it so that they're like, hey, Iron Man 3 doesn't matter anymore. Like, forget about Iron Man 3 because we don't want to remember Iron Man 3. Like, this is a new version of Iron Man 3.
I don't want to say that they explain it well.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's it goes with the theme. It kind of goes with. I can't.
It's okay. We'll talk about it next week.
Honestly, dude, all I'm gonna say is there is a couple good cameos in this, and one of them is fantastic. It's so awesome. Fucking hilarious. It's great. It's so good.
It's sold out here in Windsor. So
really, well, the theater I went to was like relatively busy for the time I went. So
we have like really 3 main theaters here, and the mall theater was completely sold out except for front row.
Wow.
So we're going to another theater because I couldn't get good seats there, but so people are going back to theaters. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to last, but
yeah, especially with the vaccine passport.
And I mean, it's only half capacity because there's so many seats that can't be taken up and whatever.
Yeah, same here. How are they doing that there? Like, it's the one I went to yesterday. It'll be interesting tomorrow because I'm going to an older theater tomorrow. The one I went to yesterday is like the newest one, kind of like in the Lower Mainland area. So like, even just the seats between like me and the person in front of me, there's like 6 feet, or like maybe not 6 feet, but like quite a bit of space. Like they have it to the point where you have recliner seats and people can still walk by your row. Like
so the main theaters here are all recliner seats now. Like they're all like the luxury seating and everything. And there's 2-seat gap in between every party of people in the theaters here. So like
that's crazy.
If you book 5 seats, like I have 4 friends and me going tomorrow, there's a 2-seat gap in between the left side and the right side of the end of the party. Basically.
That's more than here because that's only 1 seat here.
Yeah. So every booking has a seat barrier between them and the next party. But then when you book the next thing, it also has a seat and a seat barrier. So it ends up being 2 seat barriers in between each group.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I like I said, I'm fully vaccinated. I'm not concerned about it. I'm ready to get back to my normal living life. So I'm not going to not go to the theater. As long as things are open, I'm going to support
You're going to do
restaurants, movie theaters, name it. You know, I have no problem with a vaccine passport. I'm stoked about it. And, go get vaccinated. That's all I got to say.
I agree. 100%.
And go vote. That's my other thing. We're not a political podcast. I'm not going to say anything political. Go vote. Fucking use your voice as a Canadian and fucking vote.
There you have it.
It bothers me, man. So many people. I don't care what side of the fence you are on. I'm not saying like I agree. I'm very, very left wing, but don't complain about shit and then don't vote. Like fucking vote.
That's fair. I don't really complain about government shit. I'm not like a government complainer. I more like hate people.
Same, but I look at it as this. Like, when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, I always said, like, none of this stuff affects me. Why do I care? And shrugged it off. And it may not affect you at 18, 19, 20. It does. There's a lot of things that affect you, but you don't realize it at that age because you don't care. You're busy partying. You're busy chasing girls or guys. You're busy, drinking with your friends, going out, whatever. But in the long run, it does affect you. There's, tons of things, little small things that affect you and your families and your future. And, I just think everybody that can should go out there and use their voice appropriately. And, I may lean differently than the person that may hear this and go, hey, I'm going to vote for the first time. And that's fine. Everybody should have different opinions, but, being respectful and being understanding of those different opinions and getting back to a normalcy where you can have a rational conversation and have different opinions, I think is so important and so needed in 2021. So
yeah, well said. I do vote, but I more vote because my wife's like, you have to vote. And I'm like,
yeah, no, I understand a lot of people. I understand a lot of people where they come from, where they go, I don't like any of these guys.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, I understand that aspect of it. I think a lot of times politicians come off as very fake people, but
that's an understatement if I ever heard one.
And the thing that bothers me most is it's almost always, especially in the States, but even here at times, is old white people representing an entire country, and I find that extremely obnoxious. Like, why is it all these old people? They don't have anything in common with my problems or the people at 2021 that could be voting for the first time, whatever. So,
I agree.
I think that's a huge problem. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna say there's candidates out there that represent a lot of the different things this time, and you should vote appropriately.
Well said.
Yeah,
that's the first time we've ever talked politics here on Moose Milk Media.
Yeah, no, I don't want to push people away. I know a lot of times like people hear politics and go, "Oh, like fucking don't preach to me" or whatever, and like I get that. I'm not telling people what to do, but
yeah,
to me it's just an important piece of I'm a Canadian podcast, and yeah, I'm gonna have my voice and use it. So I'm in Facebook jail right now because I use my voice too loudly.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's a boy. I almost actually had to talk Kate down from almost saying something to one of my brother's pictures on Facebook today. She's like, I'm going to say something. I'm like, don't fucking do it. Don't do it. Like, you're...
Somebody said something super racist and I commented on it and I got put in Facebook jail for it. So
great. Sounds good. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been staying off Facebook as much as I can for the last couple of days since they announced the passport in Ontario. Cause I'm like, shit is gonna hit the fucking fan here.
It's a shit storm. It's terrible, and because I'm in support of it, a lot of people are saying a lot of nasty things to me, but they're fine, and I get put in Facebook jail for commenting on something. So it is Ryan, what it is, brother.
I've told you this many times. You have to stop waving your genitals at everybody. So
that's exactly what I did too. That's the weird part.
I know it's your political standoff move, but.
Instead of like slapping your opponent and be like, I charge you to a duel, I just whip out my wiener. It's weird.
Helicopter dick. Helicopter dick.
Exactly.
That's funny. So before we get back on track, so Shang Chi. So we're gonna talk about it next week, and I'm super excited. I can't wait for you to see it tomorrow. What time are you seeing it?
7:15 my time.
So by the time I get out of mine, or you'll actually probably get to talk to you before, like once you're out of yours, I'll probably just be going into mine. So
how long is it?
I don't remember. I think it was about 2 hours and 20 minutes, maybe. I might be wrong.
And then how many credit scenes are there?
2. One mid, one end.
Okay. So stay for the full credits. Okay.
Yeah. And they're good. Both the first one is better than the second one, but the first one is I'm excited to have a conversation about it. I'll say that.
No, I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm excited to see a Marvel movie in theaters for the first time since Endgame. So
I was very excited myself. So I went by myself. I was so excited. I'm like, I don't even care. I'm just going by myself.
No, I mean, really, when people go like, "Oh, you're going to the movies by yourself," I'm like, you're not talking during the movie. Who gives a shit?
True. It's nice for me because I'm just like Mr. Time Crunch. So it's like my movie ticket said 7:30. I literally parked the car at like 7:35, got out, grabbed a drink, went to the bathroom and sat down. And like I caught like 3 trailers and then the movie started.
Was there any trailers that were like compelling that were a surprise?
I saw the one I saw. I can't remember what it was. It was like a Disney movie, something new, but it wasn't anything that I recognized. I saw the new Spider-Man movie trailer, and I saw Eternals. So it's cool to see. It was cool to see them all. What's that? Sorry.
What was the last one?
Eternals.
Oh, Eternals. Okay.
Yeah, it was cool to see everything like on a big screen, I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, they're starting to delay a lot of movies now, so
yeah, that's where I'm wondering what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Jackass got delayed till next year.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's now I think February next year.
Is No Time to Die still coming?
Apparently, but I have a feeling it's going to get delayed.
I heard a crazy statistic that they need to make like a crazy amount of money for that to even break even at this point.
Well, because that movie got hit with 2 COVID outbreaks, I think.
Oh.
So that movie got delayed production wise, I think by 3 months overall or something like that.
I know it's been
so
getting delayed over 3 years. There's a joke at that podcast that I listen to, The Weekly Planet, and they talk about how they have the calendars for, how they make promotional calendars they'll sell at the mall and shit. I think they said they have 3 years worth of calendars because it keeps getting delayed.
No, totally. It's the same as not Venom 2. What's the other one? Morbius. Morbius has been delayed a year and a half at this point.
Morbius. Okay.
Nobody cares about Morbius. That's the funniest part. Is they keep pushing this movie, and I'm like, the movie's not going to make money regardless. So just put it out.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jared Leto.
No, nobody is. Jared Leto's biggest fan. That's it.
That's it. At least somebody believes in him.
Yeah, it's him and his cult. That's it. Can't stand him.
So tomorrow you're gonna message me when you're done seeing Shang-Chi so we can
we'll talk about it privately, and then next week we'll dive into the movie. We'll give spoilers, we'll give our thoughts, we'll do a good 45, whatever we need, but a good 30-45 minutes on it, and then we'll dive into what if episode 5 after that. We should probably talk what if this week too, but
I'm super curious to know so for anybody who doesn't know, me and Ryan try not to really talk about the episode that we're going to discuss, just so we can keep conversation interesting for everybody else too, because what's the fun if we've already talked about everything?
Sure.
I'm super curious to know your thoughts, especially because for anybody who is new and just joining us, Ryan literally fucking despises this show. So I'm curious to know your thoughts on this week's episode. That was definitely slower and darker. But yeah. See?
I fell asleep.
Did you fall asleep? That's too bad.
But it's fine.
Honestly,
I had to rewatch parts of the movie or parts of the episode because I fell asleep. I think it's the most compelling episode out of the season.
You think it's what?
I think it's the most compelling episode out of the season, and I fell asleep.
Yeah, well, it's weird because, in theory, I think it is very interesting. But I felt for what we got out of it, I felt a little bit we could have gotten more visually, I think. I found it super slow moving, and I was just, I don't know.
I feel like they needed a director that understands animated shows, and maybe they have one. I don't know who's directing these episodes. I feel like it's very, very badly edited, all of these episodes. They all feel rushed. They all have very slow moments, even though they are rushed. The voice acting I found in this episode much better than the previous 3 episodes. I thought
probably the best one.
Yeah, I thought Benedict did phenomenal. I thought he was great.
Yeah, me too.
I found the episode in theory very, very compelling. I thought the idea of the episode was cool. I liked the alternate twist on his car crash and everything like that. I thought that was really cool. I love that we didn't need to relive everything that happened in Doctor Strange 1. After the car crash, it was okay, we can skip forward through this and this all still happened.
They just kind of fast forwarded it a little bit.
Yeah. I like that aspect of it, but it still felt rushed, but also slow. I don't know how to it felt like the story didn't go far enough in the 30 minutes, but it also felt very boring at times.
Yeah, that's where I kind of landed too.
I like the episode. I like the idea of the episode. I love alternate timelines. I like time travel ish things where it was okay, if you change this, what will happen? Boom. Okay, let's rewind that and let's do this one small thing. Okay, let's go forward again. Let's see what the difference is. I like that idea of it. And I know everybody's well, that's what if is in general. And I'm well, it's not, because it generally the first few episodes was we're going to change this one thing and then go forward, where this was oh no, we're going to do 16 different takes on, if you change this, let's try it again. Oh no, still didn't work out appropriately. Let's go back, try it again, try this different idea. I like that idea of it, and I don't know. I found it very compelling. I thought it was more adult than the other episodes.
I think so too. I agree.
It it felt almost like not like Disney-esque. Like it felt very like
dark,
adult. Like it didn't show things, but it showed things in a way where it was like, wow, this is like very sexual at parts. Where I'm like, oh, I didn't expect this to be on a Disney show, but I think it's the most compelling episode. I love the idea of the episode, but I still like I fell asleep.
Yeah, execution wise, it's not compelling. Yeah, it's funny. I have to say, so this last couple of weeks I've been watching a lot of like YouTube guys doing kind of not quite this, but similar things to what we're doing here. Sure. Remember I was saying just to kind of get some kind of ideas or whatever, and it's been so interesting, like listening to people recap what if, because it doesn't seem like there's any like solid, like
consensus.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everybody's on a different page. It's so fucking weird. Like usually it's like, even when it's like, you know, still mixed up, it still usually leans in favor one way or the other. But it's like everybody.
Well, look at Shang-Chi.
What's that? Sorry,
Shang-Chi. On Rotten Tomatoes, Shang-Chi is like 93% positive, and like I think the user ratings for Shang-Chi is like 100% or 98% or something like that. It's very, very high.
Wow, that's crazy.
Then you see something like What If, where you see like a website review it and it's like a 6 out of 10, and then you see somebody else review it and it's like, this is the best thing Disney's ever done. It's a 10 out of 10, and then you see somebody else and it's like, this is the worst thing that Disney's ever done. It's a 2. It's all over the map.
You know what, though? I feel like, and this is one of the things I think is actually pretty cool about What If, is like, I feel like a lot of it gets to be left in your imagination, and because it doesn't actually exist in the universe that matters, like, it really allows your mind to kind of take it wherever you want to take it, kind of thing, right? And I think that's really unique, because, like, I don't really feel like you could do that in the MCU main timeline, whereas this one, I feel like you can. But
so
that being
my take on that is, I think this would be a much more compelling book, and I think if you made a graphic novel or even just like a full-on book, like a full-on novel, I think this, and each chapter was like a different what if story or something along those lines, but chapter length could vary chapter to chapter. I'm not saying like, you know, here's 20 pages on something. I'm saying like, hey, let's make like 1,000-page book. And here's 10 stories, and each one has, you know, 100 to whatever, 150 pages, whatever the case may be. I think that would be a much more compelling thing, because you can make it as long as you wanted to. I mean, they could make it as long as they wanted to through animation as well, but I'm sure there's a bigger cost involved in that. But I think then you could also let your imagination kind of run wild more, where the acting and the voice acting and everything like that wouldn't be as detrimental to the end product if there was no voice acting. It's just a book and you're reading the words, and your imagination can make that sound like Benedict Cumberbatch or you know, whoever. I think that's a way more compelling way to do something like this, where I know it's based off of a comic.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it is based off a comic book, but
I just feel like overall the show's kind of a disappointment to me. And maybe just because I'm not an animated fan overall, but I
feel like that probably plays a huge part of it. But
I think it does too. But I don't think anybody's out there going, this is the best thing on Disney Plus. I don't feel like anybody's going, this is way better than Loki. This is way better than Falcon. I know it's a different medium and different thing, but Finn's I just feel overall this is the weakest thing they put out. That?
I said, Finn's like, speak for yourself, moron.
Yeah, he loves the shit, man. I don't know, he's being very needy because I was at my parents' house all night, so
makes sense.
He hasn't seen me for most of the night, and now he's just being overly needy.
Now he's like, yo, I'm here.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's not that I hate it. It's just that it's the weakest part of the MCU to me.
Yeah. Honestly, like I wouldn't compare this to any of the movies or TV shows we've gotten so far because I feel like I have more attachment to them because they're more relevant to what I'm mostly interested in here, right? Which is like the overall story. So like, you know, I have much more attachment to the stuff that's actually relevant to that story. So I just think it's cool and I think it's pretty different and I think I quite like it. I think it's good. It's hard to compare because they're two different animals.
Yeah.
So, but one of the things I don't like about it is I feel like they've kind of made a few like new rules. I wrote them down, so I'm getting my phone out to look. But I feel like they've kind of like made new rules in this world, and I'm just like I don't love that, especially because like as we continue to do this multiverse thing, I feel like it's pretty critical that everyone stays on the same page, or else like what the fuck kind of thing.
I agree.
So my notes were there was two things. So Ancient One in this, she splits Doctor Strange's timeline in two using powers from the dark energy.
Yep.
Thought that was interesting. I was like, okay, I didn't realize that we could do that now.
I didn't like that either.
So, okay. That's different.
I just take that as the rules don't apply on the show because this isn't real. And then if this isn't real, why do we have it? Period. And that's been my problem with the show the entire time is if nothing lasts, if none of this is going to affect the rest of the MCU, then is there a reason for it to exist in the first place? And it's that like ancient thing, like if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around, does it make a noise? And that's basically what I feel about this show is like, if this doesn't affect the rest of the MCU, does it matter or does anybody
it's
care?
Just cannon fodder, basically. Not even really.
It's an interesting thought exercise, but outside of the thought exercise, do we need this? Is it important? Does it matter? And to me, it doesn't. But maybe by the end of the series, maybe by episode 10, things start affecting other things. I don't know.
The other one I thought was weird was they talked about an absolute point in time where something happens and triggers something else and it's inescapable. It's just that's the way it has to be in every world. And then they're talking about Christine dying and saying that if Christine doesn't die, then he could never become Doctor Strange. But in the Doctor Strange we got, Christine never died and he became Doctor Strange. So I don't quite understand how that one works because
totally agree. That was the part that bothered me the most.
Yeah, the only Doctor Strange we know up until this point is the one who's Christine is alive and he's still Doctor Strange, so I don't quite get
But in this universe, that's the version they were trying to tell. I agree with you. That was my problem with the episode overall, but I looked at it as this is a different universe, different Earth, different whatever, where this is the world that was built, and in this world, Christine always died regardless of what happens. It was refreshing to see Doctor Strange treat Christine in a good way at the beginning. Mm-hmm. He always we know he loved her even in the movie. Like he always had that love for her, but treated her like shit because he was a fucking egomaniac. Where in the show, he's still a little bit of egotistical prick, but he also has this love for this woman, and that's the compelling part of the episode to me was seeing the romantic side of Doctor Strange, where he actually appreciated this person that had done a lot for him.
Yeah.
It made him more human. It made him more likable as a character, but I feel like we didn't get him as a likable character in the movie until near the end of the movie, where all of a sudden he drops the ego and becomes kind of a hero.
Yeah.
Where in the show he kind of hits a balance right away where he's kind of a dick, but he's also kind of a likable dick. And it's the same thing with a Star-Lord where he's a dick, he's an asshole, and he's egotistical.
But he's charming as fuck.
He's charming and you like him right away because he's funny and he kind of has this cool side to him, and it's like that for this version of Doctor Strange. But yeah, I agree with you. that was the part that bothered me the most. Is like, well, this isn't like a sticking point for Doctor Strange, because in our reality, Christine doesn't die, and that's kind of what makes him drop the ego and become more, of a hero or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought those were both weird. And then I just made a note that, and we can talk about this either more next week if I remember. I won't. Or tomorrow if you think of it. But there were a couple of things kind of towards the end of this episode that had a lot of similar imagery to Shang Chi, which I thought was interesting.
Well, I hope that they do. Like, I mean, I texted you yesterday after Shang Chi, and I said, like, what was the credit scenes like, etc. Does it really build into something that's going to carry on the MCU? And you said, like, yes and no. I'm not going to spoil anything. I haven't read anything. I don't want you to spoil anything. My point is, like, my biggest problem with the MCU right now, and I know we're still early in this phase, but I feel like it's dragging its heels a little bit with introducing the next villain, the next thing, the next, are we building towards an Avengers? Are we building towards the next big villain? Are we building towards mutants? Are we building towards Fantastic Four? What are we building towards? And they haven't really introduced that yet, other than the multiverse in Kang, I guess, a little bit. But my thing is like, I know COVID put a halt in the way things were introduced in their timeline, but I also feel like, regardless of COVID and the halt and you putting out movies, it's been 2 years for us since Endgame, and I feel like we've made very little traction in what this phase is all about. What are they trying to put into this phase?
But it's hard to compare, though, because literally, if you're talking movies, you're comparing Black Widow, which technically happened in phase 3. So, like,
yes, but my point is like, during the first phase, even as slow build as it was, in that the linking credit scenes were very small and very
they kind of played into the next movie.
They played into the next movie, but they built towards, we're building a team of the Avengers.
Yeah.
So far, I don't know what they're building towards. Is it the new Avengers? Is it a young Avengers? Is it time manipulation and Kang? Is it what is the end goal of this phase? I don't know what that is. And maybe by the time Eternals or Spider-Man comes out, we'll have a more grasp on what are they building towards. But that's my biggest critique of this phase so far, is that I want something that goes, oh shit, like, I can't wait to see the Eternals in November, because the end credit scene of Shang-Chi really, really hooked me on, like, oh shit, we know we're getting this. This is awesome. And like, that's the hype I'm missing. Is like, generally in most things, I'm anti-hype, because I think usually it's a letdown. But at this point of the MCU, I'm like, you've built 11, 12 years of this franchise. We don't need 10 years of buildup to the next big event. We need, less, 5 years. You gotta bring it faster, because we're prepared for the next big moment in this series. And this isn't it. Like, as good as Shang-Chi might be, I need something that links me to the next big thing and gets me hyped for the next big thing. And like, everybody's expecting mutants, and we just aren't getting that. So it's like that constant, blue balls of like, just give me the thing I want. Come on.
I don't really agree with you, but I don't get me wrong. I don't want to wait 10 years either, but I also have no indication that it's going to be 10 years. I mean, like, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, if you put it into perspective, we're one movie into the new phase. I know it's been 2 years, but we're one movie, and we're 3 TV shows in, which haven't really done a shit ton in terms of the bigger world outside of Loki. But like, they're still there. But I mean, with one movie that was set in a different phase and 3 TV shows, we have already lined up that Kang, maybe not by name, but they've teed that off. That's coming.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
We're already farther ahead than we were in Avengers 1, where we got Thanos' face for the first time with no context. Now we know that Kang is coming, and we know what the game plan is going to be, because it's going to be an all-out time fucking jumping war or whatever, having all these different Kangs trying to get their slice. So, like, to me, being one movie in, we're significantly more far off than we were. I understand you want more, but the MCU's never been about that. Like, you want to talk about rushing it? DC rushes it. Sony rushes it. What happens when you put a jillion things in a movie?
Yep.
You know?
You're not wrong. I totally agree with you. And I agree with you. Like, the DCEU is exactly what Marvel should be looking at and go, don't do that. Yeah. That was bad. Don't do that. But I'm a very impatient person. I hate waiting in line. I hate waiting. I don't like hey, we're going to give you something you like 6 months from now. Be excited. That to me just pisses me off. And I go, don't tell me about it at all then. Like, don't get me excited for it at all then until you want to get me excited for it. And it's like a month away.
But that doesn't really line up with what you're saying, because you're saying, I want to know what's going to be happening down the road now.
But I want it to build. I want to know that a year from now, this is building towards an Avengers. This is building towards a villain that's, worthy of being in the MCU. I want this to be building towards, hey, we're getting an X-Men movie in 2 years, and here starts getting the droplets of that universe. Like, as of right now, we don't really know what this is building towards, and that's the problem with me. Is like, if you give me a drip feed of news, of hype, of this is what you're expecting, then it satiates me, and I go, okay, I can hang on a little bit longer and get excited for that thing. But when we're getting nothing, it's just like, all right, what is this going towards? And I know we're one movie in, and I get it. But
again, I think it's different too, because I feel like you just are expecting mutants and Fantastic Four, and it's like, I get that you want that for sure, but it's like, to say we don't know what we're getting, like, we have a slate for the next 3 years of shit we know we're getting. Like,
I guess, what I mean? But
like, just because there's not an Avengers title on it doesn't mean we're not getting a team up. Like when we originally saw Multiverse of Madness, none of us knew that Loki was going to be in it, and Spider-Man was going to be in it, and Scarlet Witch was going to be in it. But we're getting all those guys.
I think you're right, and I agree with you. I think you're the most rational person on this podcast. But I also look at it as like, I want more. I want more now. Like, I know I'm greedy. I know I'm very impatient. I get it, but I just want like the next thing now, and all I can think about is like, give me X-Men hype. That's all I want.
The problem is they give you X-Men now, and then what do you want next year?
X-Men too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like, as soon as you get the Grail, then they have to one up the Grail. Like, to me, we probably won't see anything at an Endgame type level for another 5 or 6 years, because imagine they put out an Endgame type movie every 2 years. Like, how could you even compete with that? Like, you literally wipe out half the population in a series of 2 movies, and it's like, how is there any way to compete with that?
No, and I agree with you. They're competing with a quality product, and when you hit that level of product, it's very hard to get above that product. And
I don't disagree.
If you keep at that level, then that's all you can expect. If they keep putting out A-level quality movies, then I don't think you can be disappointed. But I also think that, like, with all the news of them buying Fox and getting X-Men back and getting Fantastic Four back, the fact that we haven't got like any real casting news, any real leaks about like what the plan is, or that we're building towards that Fantastic Four or X-Men movie, I think that's the biggest problem. Is like, generally we got that stuff before, is like, you kind of knew, like, oh yeah, we're building towards an Avengers movie and it's coming. And now it's like, we don't really know what this is building towards. But yeah, we know there's a Doctor Strange movie next year. We know that, whatever, Blade is coming in 2 years or whatever the case it is. But
it doesn't seem like it's coalescing into a universe really right now. It feels like a lot of separate parts.
But again, though, that's what
are-
I'm. But that's not true. Like
It
just
is.
looking. But just look at all the different people showing. Like what I'm trying to say is, you have so many characters to choose from in this universe now. Like you can't wait for an ensemble movie to put them all on screen together. We're gonna get to the point where an ensemble movie is not gonna be. It's not going to make sense anymore because it's like, yeah, we're going to wait for Avengers 5 and these 6 people are going to team up. Oh, but in this movie, there's 4 of them are already together. Like the world is going to get so big and so cluttered that if we wait for an Avengers movie to put these guys together, then it's going to take forever to develop this story. Like every movie is going to become a melting pot of characters. So like, you know, we're going to see all these different characters in Spider-Man. We're going to see all these different characters in Doctor Strange. And I can imagine that that's not going to be where that ends. Like,
you're right.
Right?
You're 100% right. I'm just impatient. I just want more.
I worry about like making everything have to be like a world-ending issue.
It shouldn't be.
It's exhausting, and like again, it's just like, how do you keep that interesting? And to be honest with you, like even being able to like set the universe up, it's like even that risks becoming repetitive, because it's like, okay, last time we did this and this, and now this time we're gonna do it again. But it's like, okay, here we go with the repetitiveness again. Like
I totally agree with you.
You know,
I don't think that it can be a world-ending event at all times. I think the next big event has to be Earthbound. It has to be the mutant crisis of like what does it mean to be human? Humans dealing with the fact that they're not the most powerful species on the planet. What does that mean for the human race? What does it mean to have creatures that can do anything at any time on the planet? I don't think it has to be intergalactic world-ending event. I think it has to be basically what's kind of going on in the world right now of like, I don't want to feel lesser than, this person feels more than me. That imbalance of power, that imbalance of wealth, that imbalance of all that stuff. They can do it in a very significant way in our current lifestyle of like, the X-Men have always been that kind of voice of like equality and human rights and all that kind of thing. And that's a massive thing they could do right now. That's very
relevant.
Relevant in Earthbound and not intergalactic. And that can slowly build into Dark Phoenix and all that like space shit that they could do, you know, in phase 5, phase 6, phase 7, whatever the case may be. But it's really just, I'm not good at the quietness of the universe. Like, I have a problem with waiting years on years on years on years to get the next thing. Like, I hate when a video game gets announced and they're like, yeah, this game's going to be coming in 2024. And it's like, well, I'd rather you just didn't tell me about this game at some point, because I don't want to wait 3 years for this game. Like, the hype cycle for this next thing is too long for me to stay hyped the entire time. Eventually I get annoyed by it.
Yeah, you can't make money off of silence, though.
I agree, but I think Marvel's biggest problem, like I said, right now, is that we don't know what this is building towards. There's no phase 4 end goal of like, this is coalescing into this storyline. Like, we have a lot of standalone movies.
But we're only one movie in.
No, I know, but we know what's coming in this phase. Like, that's my point, is like,
I know. But as
we have the list of what's coming in this phase, and they're all standalone movies. And yes, in Doctor Strange, we're getting Wanda, and in Spider-Man, we're getting the multiverse, and so on and so forth. But my point is like, this isn't building into an Avengers type thing. Like, this is building towards, all right, you're going to get your answer in phase 5.
Yeah, but yet.
Yeah, maybe there's a secret thing that they haven't announced yet that like they're like, hey, by the way, we didn't announce that at the end of phase 4, we're getting X movie or whatever. But
the thing is, you can't even look at their schedule right now and be able to be like, oh, there's a movie missing, because we've never gotten this much content as
sure,
ever, right? So like, you never know.
But I think drop. Like your point of like, oh, we have too many characters now to build into this thing. It's like, well, that they have that problem regardless. Like, even with Iron Man not being a part of the universe anymore, or Black Widow not being a part of the universe anymore, they're introducing Miss Marvel, they're introducing She-Hulk, they're introducing Shang Chi, they're introducing the Eternals, they're introducing all these new characters. They're gonna have that problem regardless, where they have 1,000 characters on staff right now, and how do you do this in a good film? Like, they're gonna have that problem regardless. Is how do you put a 60 character universe into a film? You don't.
Yeah.
The answer is you don't. You do a select 6, and that's the storyline. Unless you want to do like a Civil War type movie where you have 15 verse 15 and character AC, ABC, and XYZ don't get much screen time. They're just background characters, and there you go. But I don't know. I like I said, I'm very, very excited to see Shang-Chi tomorrow. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see Spider-Man.
I can't wait to talk to you about it.
What's that?
Can't wait to talk to you about it tomorrow.
Yeah. This is what makes me excited about the universe, is talking to people. But like, honestly, and I know this is going to be kind of blasphemy for you, but like, the most excited movie for me right now that's been announced in the comic book universe is Batman.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can't wait for this new Batman movie. Like, I'm stoked for this new Batman movie. And
have they even had a trailer or anything? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
One trailer.
Cool.
But I guess they did an early preview of the movie. Like, I guess it's a rough cut, like 3-hour length movie.
Yeah.
And apparently it's like fucking insanely good.
Oh, okay, cool. That's good. Honestly, man, I know I'm a DC hater, but really, I like end up sympathizing with DC fans who don't get good action figures and good movies. So if they ever can get a win, then kudos to them.
Sure.
I don't really worry about them catching up to Marvel, because I'm like, good luck.
You never have.
But yeah.
Hey, Mercury, what's up?
Yeah, hey, man, what's up?
I totally agree with you. I don't think they have any hope of catching up to DC at all, but
I think DC
Marvel at all. But
just let it go, which I feel like they have. I don't even know. Maybe they have.
What's that?
I said, like, I feel like DC just needs to like let it go. Like, I don't know if I don't know if they're still trying to compete, but they just need to stop and just focus.
I don't know what they're trying to do anymore, and that's a problem in itself. But I look at the new Batman, like the previews of what people saw for this new movie. They said it's by far the most brutal, like R-rated, like graphic.
Is it going to be R-rated?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you hear that Venom's not going to be? Did you hear Venom 2 is going to be PG-13?
PG-13, yeah. Disappointing.
That's great.
That no Batman film so far has anything on this movie. Like, by far, this is like the most like adult, like graphic, like dark take on Batman. Like, very different in feel, different take. And like everything I've read about it, I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted out of Batman, like, forever. So I'm a huge Batman fan. I mean, like, that's my favorite comic thing. So
that's cool. But I'm glad that you're going to get something that's looking promising. So
I hope so. I hope it's good.
Because I like Raw Bat. I like him as an actor.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll see the product and judge it off that. But I'm hyped for this movie. Like, this is my most anticipated movie. And then I would say Spider-Man. And then I would say Shang-Chi. And then I would say Eternals. If I was including things farther out, I would put Batman, and then I would put Doctor Strange, and then I'd put Spider-Man, and then I'd put the rest. But
I'm definitely excited for Doctor Strange. I actually kind of wonder if maybe the Doctor Strange, bad guy Doctor Strange we saw in this What If has something to do with Doctor Strange's weird behavior in the trailer for the Spider-Man movie. Kind of wondered.
I think that's perhaps what they're building towards is there's going to be multiple versions of Doctor Strange in the multiverse, and one's going to be evil, one's going to be good, and one's going to be middle ground, and there's going to be just all different versions of them. And I think if anything that they want to build towards out of What If, it's going to be that is there's multiple versions of every character.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just listening to, like, kind of earlier tonight, I was listening to someone who was doing a live stream about this episode of What If, toying around, and he made a really, really interesting point. He said that in the Spider-Man trailer, Doctor Strange's hands weren't all fucked up. They were, like, clean, like, not scarred.
Yep.
Which, like, this one, obviously, this What If bad guy Doctor Strange obviously didn't have scarred hands either because he never got in a car crash. So I thought that was kind of interesting because I was like, oh.
Totally.
That's a good catch.
It would not surprise me if they were like, every version we've introduced in What If exists in the multiverse.
Right, yeah.
And they all carry on. They're all there. It would not surprise me at all if in whatever future movie, if all of a sudden we get Captain Carter swinging in from a multiverse.
Well, didn't they say Captain Carter's
world.
supposed to be in Doctor Strange?
There you go.
Sure they did. I'm pretty sure. Did you also, since we're talking about Doctor Strange and we're getting towards the end here, did you hear that rumor about James McAvoy reprising his role as Professor X in Doctor Strange?
I did not. That'd be dope.
There's rumors that he might form the Illuminati, which is, like, in the comics is like Bruce Banner, Black Panther, Reed Richards, Professor Xavier, Submariner, and Doctor Strange, I think. I'm sure there's probably other members that kind of go in and out over the years, but I think that's kind of like the general lineup, I think. So, yeah. I might get our first mutant in Doctor Strange. Maybe we'll get it. I still think we're going to get mutants in Eternals. I don't think we will in Spider-Man, but I think we'll get I guess Eternals is first anyways, so.
I'll put it this way. In my opinion, they used WandaVision as a way to...
Yes. Sorry. Mercury Morris said Black Bolt is in the Illuminati also.
I think they used WandaVision as a way to introduce Fox's X-Men into the universe in a way, and to see fans' reaction on that. And it would not surprise me at all if Hugh Jackman was in Marvel Universe as Wolverine. And that was an alternate take on him. They get him to do his big, Avengers-esque moment as Wolverine that he's always wanted. And then he's put aside into a different universe, and we get a recasting of Wolverine. It wouldn't surprise me if James McAvoy was in it. It wouldn't surprise me if any actor reprised their Fox role as an X-Men. Then are cast aside in some future, whatever universe canceling event. I think they'd be stupid not to. They have too much cachet.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be smart. And again, the nice thing about having all the different multiverses is you can keep that universe around for later if you want to, right? If you ever want to go back and revisit it, you can 100%. You can do that. So
they wouldn't be putting Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man into these movies if they weren't okay with bringing in X characters into this universe. Like, they wouldn't put Tobey Maguire in a movie if they weren't comfortable putting Hugh Jackman in a movie. Period.
It's not that I don't think so. Mercury More Custom says would love Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, but he said on multiple occasions that he's completely done, sadly. And
he also said that he would totally reprise his role if it was within an Avengers universe.
He did say that. But I also think money talks, and I also think that Disney are the kings at visual effects, and they could just say, look, we know the reason why you don't want to do Wolverine is because it's like it exhausts your body because he gets into like tip-top shape. Just get fat and we'll green screen a six-pack on you and we're good. Like that. Not just that, but they could do all that, right?
How many bad Wolverine movies have there been? Like, no offense, but a lot of the Fox's X-Men universe are shit.
Yeah,
Period.
I agree.
I watched the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire earlier this week. I didn't mention that earlier, and I should have. I watched that last like Sunday or Monday or whatever it was, and I'm sorry, that movie doesn't hold up. The movie sucks. It's nowhere near the extent of the current comic book universe.
I agree.
The CGI is terrible.
Pre-MCU comic book movie.
Yeah, it's very cheesy. It's
super
the
cheesy.
Green Goblin costume's terrible. The dialogue's bad. It's cheesy. Yep. It's not great. There's a few moments that I'm like really, really great. Kirsten Dunst is gorgeous in that movie. She's awesome as MJ. But we have this like nostalgic love of these characters, and they can toy with that, and they can bring it into this universe, and bringing in Hugh Jackman, regardless of what shape he's in, is totally fine. Like, you could do any version of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine you want and make it into this universe. And it doesn't have to be 35, 40, 45 minutes of a movie. Like, it could be a 10-minute cameo of where, like, he goes into this universe and boom, there he is. And they do a little thing and he gets this huge action moment and then he's bounced out of the movie and we're back into our current MCU universe. And, like, I don't know. Hugh Jackman has said on multiple occasions the only way he would ever do Wolverine again is if he got to be in like an Avengers type
team-up movie. Yeah.
And I could totally see Marvel going and saying like, yeah, we'll bring you back and we're going to put you in this sweet role. And this is the script. And here you go. It's an awesome script. We got an awesome director. If you're okay with it, we're going to put you in here and boom, away we go. And it's not going to be announced. It's not going to be publicly known until we see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that happening. That'd be cool. Yeah. I mean, I think, again, because I think they're taking the slow road with X-Men and stuff. I feel like they're going to probably focus on Fantastic Four first. I'm kind of getting that vibe that's probably what's going to happen. So I do think that we'll get mutants, but I do think it will be a very slow burn up to an actual like X-Men movie. Like I feel like we'll probably start with like, because there's rumors that they're going to rebrand it to the New Mutants, but I kind of feel like what they might do is they'll do New Mutants and it'll be like the original 5, because I know there's been some rumors about the original X-Men lineup being kind of the starting line. So Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Beast, Iceman, and Archangel, or Angel, I guess, at that point. So that would be a really awesome thing to kind of start with, because then you could still introduce Storm, you could introduce Wolverine, you could introduce Gambit, and you could introduce Nightcrawler, and you can do them not in that New Mutants kind of spot. Do it throughout the MCU, all to eventually lead to an X-Men movie, which is the New Mutants basically adding on to the team and becoming like a bigger, force to be reckoned with, right? And then I do think we will eventually get, I do think we'll see shades of like the racism towards mutants at the beginning. I do definitely think that will always be a constant thing that shows up. Yeah. But I do think that it will take a couple movies to elevate to the point where we get like a Marvel versus Avengers versus X-Men kind of thing. Like I think it will take some time to get to that point where we see Avengers side with humanity and say we need to kind of step in here kind of thing, right?
I think that would be the big event of Phase 5 is the end of Phase 5. I think we'll get like a Marvel versus X-Men type thing. And I think Phase 6 will be more of like the Dark Phoenix space shit of
I honestly, if they didn't do Dark Phoenix for like 7 or 8 years, I honestly think that would be their smart. Like I don't
think Phase 6 will be for 7 or 8 years. So
I can't imagine why Disney would ever look at the Dark Phoenix saga and be like, we need to try that. Like it's already been tried and failed twice. I know that anything Disney puts out will be better, but like, fuck man, let it breathe.
But they haven't done it right yet.
I know, but what I'm saying is there's so many other villains that we could focus on. Like we've seen shitty Dark Phoenix twice already. Like we don't need to do another fast one. And the thing is once you kill off something like Phoenix, you change Jean Grey as a character. So like let's have Jean in something for a bit before we decide to.
I think that will be Phase 5 and Phase 6 will be Jean Grey as Jean Grey, and then by the end of Phase 6, we're doing the end of Phase 6, we're doing Dark Phoenix. Jean Grey dies. We get the whole space thing that builds into a bigger galactic threat. Somewhere before that, you could totally do, or maybe after that, you could totally do like the whole Sentinel project and everything like that. But, there's tons of stories within the universe. I agree, but I feel like all of these stories have been done so poorly that fans are like begging for a good Sentinel movie, a good Dark Phoenix movie, whatever. And you've built the universe to understand that it could happen. Like, you've built out the space shit where you can do Space Jammers, you can do the Dark Phoenix saga, you can do the whole Fantastic Four, like going into space thing and finding alien shit and all that stuff. You can build that into the universe now, where all of a sudden, when 5 years from now, where you're building out Phase 6, or 6 years from now, where you're building out Phase 6, you can all of a sudden put in, the Dark Phoenix saga, and it totally fits into the world. And by that time, you've not forgotten, but like the Fox Dark Phoenix saga is, in the past. It's as close to us as Spider-Man 1 is now. Like, it's not an issue.
I just think that like Dark Phoenix is something that would involve the whole Marvel universe, not just the X-Men. So like, I feel like that becomes more like a Thanos level villain, where I feel like, they could do Apocalypse, they could do Galactus. We're still going to deal with Kang.
Oh, I think they're building towards Apocalypse.
Yeah, I hope we get a good Apocalypse at some point.
I think 1,000% with everything with Kang, they're definitely building towards an Apocalypse.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Apocalypse could even be a variant of Kang.
Yeah, sure. I think that's next phase, but I think it's coming.
That'd be. Yeah,
I think they're laying the groundwork.
I'm excited to see what happens and where we go, but I'm all for taking it slow. I get what you're saying. I get that. I do want to know what we're looking forward to as well, but at the same time, I do like the surprises, and
sure.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good to come, and I trust that they know what they're doing. I know you do too, for the most part. So.
No, I think it's like putting in an in-ground pool in your backyard right now. Like they're doing the yard work, they're digging the hole, and they're getting the ground ready, and then eventually they start laying in the fucking pool, and like right now we're getting all the foundation of everything that's to come, and it's gonna come. It's just a matter of time, and we know movies till I think the end of 2023 right now, so. That's the end of Phase 4. Okay, well, Phase 5 is probably going to be 2-3 years too. So we're looking at 2026, 2027. So if we're starting talking about, Phase 6, we're looking at almost 2030 by that point. So like, I would hope
how many
that
movies
by that
are usually in it? How many movies are usually in a phase?
Depends on the phase. The first phase was 5. Second phase, I think, was like 10. Third phase, I think, was like around the same 10, 12, somewhere in that area. Like they've definitely grown every phase, but like this phase, I think it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, like 9, 10.
Yeah, I think it's going to fill up quicker though, just because we're going to realistically get 4 to 5 movies a year now too, right?
Well, we're getting 4 this year. I think we're getting 3 next year, and I think we're getting 3 the following year.
Yeah, see, I think we'll get more than 3 next year. If they're going to keep going at the rate they're going, I feel like there's more that hasn't been announced or something. But Mercury More Custom says, oh man, a good AOA storyline would be so much fun to work towards. I mean, I'd love to see Age of Apocalypse realized, but I also, again, I think the thing with an AOA storyline is like everything else kind of has to stop. Like it just that's what happened in the mainline thing is like all of the X-Men books stopped for I think it was quite a bit, like 8 months or something like that, and like all Age of Apocalypse stuff came out instead, right? I know they could just do a loose base off of it, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like to do a proper Age of Apocalypse story, you probably have to establish Apocalypse a bit before you could drop that. Or maybe not though, because like it is about him kind of ruling the world, and you could make that kind of his incentive, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, at the
as
end
of right
the day,
now, Phase 4 is 11 movies.
11 movies. So yeah, that's
Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternal, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Thor, Black Panther, Wakanda, Forever, The Marvels, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Fantastic Four. So that means Blades and Phase 5 and whatever else comes after that. So
cool.
To me, yeah, like all this X-Men stuff's gonna happen in Phase 5.
Well, I guess we will see what happens. But I'm pretty happy with where we're at. I know you're not really feeling What If, but I'm quite liking What If. But yeah, I'm super excited to talk next week about Shang-Chi because I really liked it. It was very refreshing. It was great. It was good.
No, a little bit of issues. I'm excited. I'm very excited to talk to you about it. So,
like I said, I feel like one of my biggest complaints about it is like it's got a pretty CGI heavy final act, which I thought we could have done without. Maybe not done without, but just like it would have been nice to see more of like fights similar, like from the beginning of the movie, kind of similar towards the end. But but yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's really good.
Well,
get ready for sweaty hands.
Sweaty hands, sweaty balls, everything.
Sweaty ball sacks. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, so that's next week. We're going to talk about Shang-Chi, spoilers, and What If Episode 5. And then, yeah, this is the end of this episode.
This is the end of this episode.
So, yeah, follow us on Twitter and follow us on Instagram and follow us on Facebook and follow us on Spotify and follow us on Apple Podcasts, all the things.
I will follow you.
Exactly.
Follow you wherever you go.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I got. I got nothing else.
That's all I got. I'll keep singing. Well, I'll sing us off. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. We thank you all for watching, and I forget always to mention, or maybe I don't remember, but our art's done by @JeannieMilneArt. So if you enjoy our podcast art, definitely please follow her as well because she did a wonderful job on our art.
You always do. You do always say
like,
it.
Follow, subscribe, comment, all those things because it helps. Get us numbers, get us new followers, new people, new friends, new family, new all the things. So,
hey, guess what? I'm going to start working on this week, and people want to follow along for the music fans. I start working on that Mark Hoppus this week. I did a little bit last night, actually.
Fucking excited for you, dude.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited to see the final product. I'm excited to see you work on it, and yeah, it's gonna be a cool thing to see, dude.
I'm excited. On that note,
also,
do we have a YouTube channel? Yes, we do.
Yeah, it's in my profile at Moose Milk Media on Instagram. There's a link to the YouTube channel.
It's just Moose Milk Media, right? If you search for that on YouTube, you'd find it, right?
You should be able to find it easily, but if not, the link's in my profile. We post every episode on there. And yeah, I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna stream Miles Morales, the Spider-Man game, on Monday to YouTube. I was gonna do it on Twitch, but to make a new Twitch channel and all that thing, I think I should just try to proliferate on YouTube. So, yeah, I'm gonna play that game on Monday. I'll message on Instagram about it and tweet about it or all that shit. But
so keep an eye. I won't be there probably because I'll be picking up a relative from the airport.
Always the best times. I love picking people up from the airport.
All right, my friend. All right. Good chatting as always.
Of course, man. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Peace.
Later.